I've been struggling to find an in-depth video on installing a race seat in a Porsche. Any Porsche really, but in this case it's my Porsche Boxster S986, but this will be the same for a 987 and a whole bunch of others too. I think it's actually also the same because they use the same rail as a first gen Audi TT. So here we go. I'm going to put my Racetech in my Porsche. Just lower the roof, so we got a lot more access. If you can't do that, well, you're gonna have to go through the door, and I suggest you put a towel or something down so you don't scratch up your paintwork. Second thing we're going to do is disconnect the battery. So that's going to let us work on it and not trigger the airbag warning light when we disconnect that. So disconnect your battery, people. Disconnected. I should say on a side note here, if you have electric seats, you want to keep the battery connected so you can move the seat forward and back, but these have mechanical so you don't have to. But before you undo the wires underneath, you have to disconnect it and let it sit for a while, pump the brake pedal a few times, and that way it'll discharge electricity from the system. So now we're going to start removing the stock seat. To access the bolts on the front of the seat, which are an e-torque, so I'll get into that in a second, we have to get rid of these plastic covers. Not too hard to do. There is a little tab here, and if you've seen our fire extinguisher install video, I go over how to get them up. So you pull up the little tab with the screwdriver like so, pull them forward. Easy. Do the same on the other side. Now that those are off, they expose the e-torque bolts, which are there. So you need an e-torque socket for this. Not hard. Every single automotive part shop should have them. And we'll grab ours. We got a set, and we'll take it out. And then we're going to probably look in the dirt under here. Give this a nice clean too. So the correct size socket is an E12. And on an extension, put it in and get it ready. Here we go. So access for these front ones is really good. No issues with the fronts. We slide the seat all the way forward. I've also pushed the steering wheel all the way in, and that'll give us nice access to the rears. And there they are there too. So there's pretty good access to those. Probably have to use a shorter extension, but we can get that out pretty quick. So far, no dramas getting these bolts out. Here's the final bolt. So we have it. Oh, look what we found under here. Found a pair of thongs. Okay, cool. They're not ours. They're from the previous owner. So we found free thongs. What else we got here? Oh, looks like a drug bag. Yeah, nothing in it. And we have just the usual dirt and gunk, but here are the wires we're looking for. So we need to undo these. Now, like I said, the battery is disconnected. Yes, thank you. And we need to pull the wires from here. Pretty simple. You pull out on this here. See? That's been pulled out, and then they should just pull apart now. Always the definitive, always saying should. So it should have been attached up under the seat, but I think it might have been removed once before. Oh, here's a little screw. Okay. Now try to hold this up with the side of my arm and remove this at the same time. Ow. There we go, easy enough, disconnected. Our seat is free. Okay, now we're gonna lift it up and get it out of here. Now, if you do have a bit of a sore back, get help for this one. There you go. Grab the front or the back. Convertible make life much easier. Straight up and out. Now we can look at our mess. All right, we're gonna give this a quick vacuum, clean all this up, and then we'll measure up and see if we can test fit our race seat and get it in here. So here's our Porsche specific parts we're going to use. We've got the, was it Brey Krause? That's the mount, so they go connect on the holes, the sliders attach to them. That is the anti-strap submarine strap mount for the the 6-point bar harness that we're using. And then this is pretty cool. That is a side tunnel seat anchor for the 911 944. So that goes between the seat mount and the bottom or the rail, and will go on this side here. Well, I'll put it around so it looks better, facing the other way, and that's what our seatbelt mounts do, because we won't be, there's no seatbelt stock on our Racetech side seat mounts. Some of you might remember we had the seat in our Audi S3, so it's got Golf R S3 mounts on it, so we need to remove these and mount up our new, we'll mount all this up on the, we used our Sparco side mounts. We're going to use the Racetech ones that we have now. We'll put, these are going on our Sparco later. So we'll take it all apart and start assembling it with the correct mounts for this car. Before we put any mounts or anything in, we're just going to drop the seat in and see how it fits. Oh, that's good. It is a bit of a bigger seat, so I just wanted to test fit and see how it goes. Close the door. No more once bolted in, but it's very close to there, but that's okay. On the floor looks good, nice and low, but I think, yeah, we're gonna have to add a bit of height with the sliders and things, but I am tall, so that might be an idea to bolt this guy to the floor. Just sitting on the floor, this is pretty awesome. This is a tall seat, but yet it fits in here quite comfortably. Just comparison with the one next to it, so much room we have above the roll bar compared to the stock seat there. So this is a lot lower, but yeah, we have to put a rail on this so other people can drive it, unfortunately, namely the wife occasionally, and soon to be the children. But this is so far so good. Now we'll continue mounting up and see what kind of height changes, because it's pretty low, this other slider and this mount system. We'll get it in here and see what kind of height we've got. So we got everything sort of in position on the car, and we're not lining up 100%. So what it is that we have a generic slider, that's not a branded one, and we've got some of the holes lining up and some of them not lining up. So I'll show you what I mean. So this is the side we'll put on the bottom. These have these studs and they're welded in place. So that one lines up neatly, see? And that one does, but the back one has no place to go. So we need to drill a hole for that. That shouldn't be too hard to do. We'll just mark and measure twice and drill once. We can always kind of elongate the hole if we have to make it just fit. Now, the other thing is our Racetech seat mounts don't quite line up either, because the Sparcos did no problem, but the Racetech ones are a bit off. So we've got holes there to deal with. The back one is slotted, so we'll run off that one, and then in the front we'll just put a new hole up around here, so there's no holes at all there. We'll put one in. So not a hard thing to do. We just need to get the drill out and drill. Okay, just need to measure how wide to put the seat brackets, because you can have them flipped in or flipped out. So center of the rail to the center of the other rail, we have 40 centimeters. So we got to get 40 centimeters apart. Let's see how we have to set that up. Right now I've got the rails on the outside, and that looks way too wide, and it is. So we're going to have to bring him to the inside of the seat. we'll see what kind of measurement we have then. Okay, bolted on the inside. See where we are here. There we go. We are plenty of room because the slots, there's 40. We got lots of room to move either side. So let's drill, let's drill those rails, and yeah, we can put it together. Okay, I just finished some drilling. Now we have that rail fits the mount fits the rail nicely, so we can attach that. I didn't film drilling because, hey, I want to see that go on like a home improvement show. And then I don't get criticized for my poor pilot holes and things like that. So that's drilled, and we've also made a extra hole in the, if you flip it over, on this side to attach the seat mount to. So it just lines up a lot better. So we've got mount holes lining up so we can get this all attached. We'll just put it on the seat and then try to drop it in place. We're going to just do everything finger tight and see how it goes. Now I also have the rear sub brace, the 5-point sub brace. So that has to be mounted in here somewhere. I'm not really sure where it goes. I'm pretty sure it's got to go in some of these rear holes back here, so it doesn't foul the mount there. So we also have that to go on, but this will do. We're just going to test fit everything now, and we'll put this on as well as the sub brace at the end, because we're going to take it all apart and then reassemble that. This is just finger tight fitting now. Okay, see ya. One side on, so it's just finger tight. So I didn't film it. It's not worth. It's just showing me adjusting these, picking holes and stuff. So I've got it in the lowest it can go while still being as far forward as it can go, because I want to get this. I'm tall. I want it as low as possible, and I want to be as far back as possible. So we're going to do the same on the other side, and then we're going to drop it in and get these bolts bolted in. Okay, side mounts, rails, runners, everything is on. It's too wide for the little bracket that you use to adjust, so I'm gonna have to bend that up to fit, but we'll try it to see if we can get this in the car now. Okay, I've just maneuvered it into place, dropped it in. Now I can already tell that to use a slider, we're gonna have to raise it up, because the front of the seat, let me show it down here, this part of the seat, this is the carpet, this is the seat, good match. I don't have clearance to put the adjuster in to raise it to slide forward and back. So I've just like 2 turns, I've got the those front bolts in, and now I'm going to just jump in and see how it fits. Okay, that's 2 turns in, and we can close the door. We got room on the door, plenty. It's not as low as it was, of course, but that's the top of the seat versus top of the passenger. It's still a bit lower. Broomstick test with me at 6'2", and a helmet. So that's me at 6'2" with a helmet. It's just going to be it'll clear the broomstick test, which is good. There's a good bit of room there, but I do have to raise this up, just 1 set of holes. But all in all, it looks pretty good. So next, what we have to do, we got to order a for the carbon bucket, so a GT3 long seatbelt receiver, which will go on this side and then plug in, so we don't get the seatbelt warning light on all the time. So we got to get that sorted before we turn this on and take it for a drive. But that's a much more secure fit, and a safer setup too. So I'm going to be running the 6-point and my hands device on track. Because the seat, this style of seat has this big lip that comes over, we can't use the slider, so we're gonna have to just trim it. So it's easy enough because it's just fiberglass. So I have a Crayola, and I'm just gonna mark where we're gonna trim the seat. So we'll pull back the material and just kind of notch it out a bit, probably up to, I'll go about there. mark the same on the other side. And that way we can get some movement for here. So we've got the Dremel ready. We'll take it out and we'll just peel back the fabric and notch it and stick the fabric back down. So I've got the Brey Krause rear sub mount, but man, you think we can get this installed? No. So I have no idea how to install this. In the instructions it says to mount on tabs. There's no tabs there. So I don't know, am I going to have to drill maybe? I think for the moment I'm going to, maybe I'll just run it as a 4-point, and then I'll work out how to, I'll have to drill through this, which will be fun because that's pretty solid steel, and then put another hole in the slider and get it underneath. That's the only way I can see it kind of working. So any ideas, let me know, but otherwise, yeah, we're gonna run this, probably just run as a 4-point for now, and we'll add the 5th before our next session. Now we've got this is the side tunnel seatbelt anchor, so that goes in between the slider and the mount. It bolts on, top plate on there, nice and easy, and then we can, so we'll put that on here, and that way we can attach a seatbelt to our seat and not have to drill a hole in the tunnel or anything like that. So that's a nice easy fix from these guys. And you know, part numbers there, I'll put it in the description as well, and we'll get that fit up and have a look at, see how that goes. So that's it there, pretty cool. So the instructions are pretty basic. It says use with aftermarket sliders to be mounted underneath the aftermarket slider. So there we go, mounted under the aftermarket slider. So we'll put those little nuts back on and secure it all up. Okay, a couple little notches with the Dremel, and the material still covers that really nicely. And we now have clearance for that to move and to be adjusted. Excellent. Might need a little bit more material, but we won't know until I get it all a bit more secure here. We can maybe even drop this down a bit lower, we'll see. All right, I think we've got this rear sub bar figured out. So we got out the front holes. Now the car, of course, are not even. We're just lining up the back ones here. We have the seat belt bracket here. There's this little spacer on the other side, so we're going to be sitting even, not lopsided. And we'll bolt it up and check fitment. Now, one thing I have noticed is going to be a problem is that there's not enough clearance here for the adjuster to come through, so we might have to make something up later, but for now I think we're just going to be reaching through and adjusting. Haven't needed too much adjustment. When I test fitted it, it was pretty much in the middle setting, you know, with all the bolts accessible. It's pretty much where I needed it to be. So what we'll do, we'll just snug a few things up here and then continue a test fit when we get it back on the seat and put it into the car. Now we just use the flathead screwdriver to pop that little cover off that bolt, and we're going to take that bolt out and replace it with an eye bolt, and that way we can clip our harness to this side. So that's just a 17. It's going to be in there pretty tight. There we go. And we'll remove it, and we have a couple different eye bolts. We'll see what length we got that can get in there. Okay, eye bolt is in. We've cranked it around, and we got it nice and vertical, which is good because we can just clip our seat belt onto there or our harness. So that's good. Now, of course, we don't have on that side, but it's on the seat, and we'll put everything back together in a second. We had to pull everything apart because, unfortunately, this was fouling on the front of the. There's a hole, like a hole cut out, and well, I'll show you that hole there. So that was fouling there, so it's got to be moved further back, so we got to work out how to mount it further back. No big deal. There's some tabs or something we can mount it to, but we need to sort that out so we can get the lap belt happening. Okay, so this is difficult. Not too bad, I suppose, but it's not super easy. So I've got, just gently just finger tight. The front bolts are in, but the rears, now it doesn't help that I've got, this is a wide seat. The rears are not lining up. So I've got everything kind of, it's not tight, but it's snug, so I can still move it. So I can get it, push it over to line it up. But the center console there is keeping the seat from kind of moving all the way over. So that's going to take a little bit more pushing and shoving, but it's going to get there. And this is just to test fit it too, and then we'll take it out and cinch everything down. Alternatively, the thing I might do is bolt the runner and rail down, if even it's just connected to the seat on that side, and have this side loose and try to get it in, but to those bolts there. But so far, so good. It's nice and low, looks right, and it's going to be secure. Took a bit of stuffing around, but I got it in, all the holes lined up nice and neat. Now, top tip, I got really hung up because I have the seat as low as I could get it. And what was happening, the back bolt down here was fouling the seat itself. And I couldn't get the slider with the mount far enough in. So what I had to do in this rear bolt, I had to go a shorter nut and a shorter bolt, so as short as it could possibly go while still fit in there, and then I was able to push it in. Because what was happening was just splaying out and I couldn't really get it too well. Front was no problem, but that was a problem with the rear. So it's only because I'm tall. If I had it up one hole, like even to there, it wouldn't be an issue. But because I got it as low as it can go in the back, there's only one up in the front. Otherwise, it feels like I'm falling forward. That's the only reason. So if you're not tall, then you won't have a problem. But just a top tip. So get it so it's firm, so you can move it, but it still sticks, and that way you can lift it out nice and easily. Crank everything down real tight, and that's your fixed position. So there we go. Racetech, seat in, harnesses are next. That's pretty straightforward. I've got the eye bolt in down there. I've got that Brey Krause. Can you see it down there? Little mount there for the seat belt and harness. So that's the waist belt. Lap belt, that's gonna be a work in progress. I got to get the that crossbar to go in there. I think I'm just gonna have to drill some holes in my slider and mount, and then just drop a bolt through. And then the other harness, the top, your shoulder straps, wrapped to your roll bar. So nice and easy. Just gotta review my wrapping of straps and put it through the harness holes. But that's it. Race day ready. Okay, belts in, harness in, done the wrapping as per the instructions in the Schroth video. Got the receiver, the seatbelt receiver. Oh, there is it. There we go. Got a second hand. Just needed the wire, so that wire plugs in, and then you can run, so you don't have the seatbelt light on. What you can do, you can actually run the seatbelt behind if you don't want to get a second-hand one of these, or you can just go on Amazon or whatever, and you can actually buy them nice and easy. Just seatbelt buckle receiver, the dummy ones for people who don't wear the seatbelt normally, the idiots. There we go. We are ready to race. We are all ready for the track day now. So we've got most of our weight savings done on, if you have a look at our other videos, and this is ready to go now. Just need a little final adjustment on the length, but we should be right.